What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Thank you for clicking. Really appreciate it. How I was able to make $10,000 investing in tax lien properties. Well, if you ever heard of tax lien properties, it's basically when the government takes over a property or takes control of a property for unpaid taxes, unpaid property taxes. It could be water liens, all types of property liens. Normally that might happen when a person who owned the property died and maybe they didn't have any kids, any family members who they willed the property to, or basically it's a distressed property where the family just said forget it, they don't want it. So most times the tax lien properties are distressed properties, okay? You might find some where a person is living in it and it's decent and stuff, and those could be in states like Georgia and stuff where you have bidding states and stuff, and then it all depends on the state that you're trying to invest in as well. You got tax lien states, you got tax deed states, and all that stuff. But I'm specifically talking about tax lien properties, and I'm talking about Illinois. So I invested in about 6 tax lien properties. I went to what was called a scavenger sale in 2022. They don't really have the scavenger sales like that in Cook County. It was Cook County scavenger sale. They put a law that says that it's optional for them to do it. They used to always have to do it every 3 years, but now they don't. So I was able to bid on some properties for very low, properties that were worth, let's say, $70,000, $80,000. I was able to bid on them for $500, $2,000. I think the most I spent on one of those properties in total was about like $4,500 and stuff like that. So I was able to scoop up some tax lien properties and stuff. Well, tax liens, not the properties themselves. And in Illinois, you have to wait. There's a 2.5-year redemption period that you got to wait. But as the tax lien buyer, you have to make sure that you pay the subsequent taxes. So as I paid the subsequent taxes and I made sure I posted those taxes on the record so that I'm the person of record that paid those taxes, if anything happens where the owner goes files for bankruptcy or pays the taxes back, they got to pay me an interest rate of 12% per annum, 12% per year, which is 1% a month. And it was pretty good, all right? Out of the 6 properties, 1 was bankrupt. Actually, no, 2 were bankrupt. They filed for bankruptcy. So they gave me all my money back plus the 12% interest. So I made money on that. And then 2 of them, the city took over because pretty much the properties, well, one of the properties the city bought and stuff like that. So they paid me all my money back plus interest. And then another property, it was pretty much that the city was like, listen, we're going to knock this property down. So I went through my lawyer and we filed a sell in error because the city knew that they were going to knock it down and they put it on the rolls anyway, which they should never done that. And some of these cities are very slick. Some of these counties are very slick. They'll put things on the rolls that should not be on the roll, like a little strip of land, and they'll sell it as a tax lien and stuff like that. So you gotta be real careful investing in that. You gotta make sure you do your due diligence, make sure you pull up the records, make sure you know what property type it is. Every single county has those records, so you gotta make sure that you look it up and go see the property. Go see the property, make sure it matches your PIN, okay, or whatever the property information number, I think that's what it's called, PIN, property identifying number, something like that. So you make sure you do that and all that stuff. But then there was 2 properties that I was actually able Well, one of them went to deed. I got the tax deed for that and stuff like that. And I'm in the process of selling that right there because I don't got time to try to fix that one up. And it's another property, another tax lien that I bought from a tax buyer, and I'm gonna actually keep that property, fix it up a little bit, and when I go and see my daughter and stuff like that, I will be able to stay in that property instead of me having to go to a hotel and all that stuff. So I have that there in Illinois. It's in one of the suburbs of Illinois and stuff. But I was able, all together, with all the interest and everything that was paid and everything, I was able to make, I think, a little bit over $10,000 and stuff like that. Of course, you got to pay taxes on that money because IRS, Uncle Sam, Uncle Biden, Uncle Trump, Uncle whoever, or Auntie whoever in the future will want their money, okay? And, you know, and King Plitzer, I think that's the governor of Illinois, he wants his money, okay? And all the little local mayors and stuff, they want their money as well, so you got to pay them, all right? Don't be slick. But still, I was able to make that, and it really helped me out because I was able to utilize that money, or I'm going to be able to utilize some of that money to fix up the property that I'm going to keep. It's not much, but it helps, and it also has helped me to be able to buy things for my classroom and stuff like that, buy supplies, and help give money to my daughter, help give money to my son and stuff like that. So I'm able to do what I got to do. But, you know, investing in tax liens is not a bad thing. It could be bad if you don't do your due diligence. If you go and you invest in a property that you never went to see, or you never put boots on the ground, that's another thing that you got to do. You got to make sure that you put boots on the ground. Excuse me. I have family there in Illinois, so all the properties all the properties that I invested in, or the tax liens I invested in, I actually went to see them, but I also had people who went to see those properties as well, and they'll tell me, my daughter's grandmother, she lives there. She told me, okay, this area is decent, this area not so much, this area stay the hell away from and stuff like that, this area is good and all that stuff. So I was able to have that insider connection of the layout of the areas and stuff like that. So if you're going to invest in tax, make sure you have that. Don't be cheap. Don't be like, oh, you know, I could just invest in the comfort of my home. If you don't see the properties, you could be messed up. And there are plenty of people. When I was there at the scavenger sale in 2022, there were plenty of people that were bidding on properties, and I knew that wasn't there because I went to check it. There was one property that I believe they bid up to like $200,000, and I'm saying to myself, yo, they bidding on this property, and I don't think that they saw that behind the property it looked like a bomb hit it. So why would they bid that right there? But I believe that property was in Olympia Fields or something like that, and I think Olympia Fields is where Michael Jordan lived or something like that. I'm not sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Please let me know if that's where Michael Jordan's house is, or Olympia Fields is. Oh, or was it R. Kelly, something like that? I'm not very sure. So please tell me. I greatly want to hear from you because I really appreciate it. But like I was saying, you can make some decent money, but it's going to take time, of course, because I invested in 2022, and now in 2025, I'm just reaping some of the benefits. So it's not going to be something that's going to happen right away. It could if you invest in tax deeds. I never really got a chance to invest in tax deeds because when I went to Georgia and I tried to bid on some tax deeds, they were bidding them up something crazy. So there's states that you can invest in for tax deeds. There's Georgia, there's Texas, there's Delaware, just off the top of my head that I know, but I would tell you that you should start with tax liens first and check out all types of states. Wherever you are in America, check them out. Check and see if you live in a tax lien state or a tax deed state, and do your best to do your research. And hey, you might be able to get a tax lien property that you wouldn't mind living in the future. Like one of the properties that I got, I'm gonna fix it up and I'm gonna rent it out and stuff, and I wouldn't mind living there, like, you know, when I go and visit my daughter and stuff like that. But you might be able to get a property for $5,000, $10,000 on a tax lien, and you just pay off the taxes, and altogether you might end up paying for that property, like let's say you might end up paying $20,000 or $25,000, but the property is worth $75,000 or $100,000. You get the property if it's somewhere where it's decent, where you don't have to really put a lot of work into it. You could then say, hey, look, buy it for $25,000 altogether, put $50,000 into it. Now you got a property that could be worth $100,000, $125,000, maybe even $150,000, and you could live in it. You could live in it, and now that's your property. So it's a lot of things that you can do where you can be able to have more money and have a property, but it's just going to take time. So don't rush to do it, because that's how a lot of people lose money. They rush against these deals and they get a hard money loan and they do this, they do that. You don't have to do that, especially if you saving your money by yourself or with your wife or husband or whatever, and you're just making your moves. So I would just say do that and do what you gotta do. But guys, I'm gonna end this video here. I just wanted to talk about how I was able to get or make $10,000 investing in tax liens. I could have probably made more if I had the money to invest more, but I didn't at the time, so it is what it is. But that's still a good return, because I invested about like $40,000, and I made $10,000 profit, which is not bad. Plus, I'm about to get another house and everything. So all in all, let's say $45,000, which is not bad at all. So we'll just see what happens and we just go from there. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. I know your time is valuable, but you spent it with me. Thank you. If you haven't already, please like the video, make some comments, and subscribe to this channel. All that good stuff will help as I continue to grow on this YouTube platform. I want to hear from you. I really appreciate you and I really love you. Thank you for watching. Be safe. Peace.